Hello everyone, my name is Dorcas Ite Ilya. I am a Nigerian writer and this is my powerful story.
Join us for intriguing African stories coming to this platform in April.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. It's Friday the 31st of March. I hope whatever you got to today, that you have a nice and pleasant one. It's the start of the school holidays here in England. The start of the school holidays. So I've got my child at home and he's in the living room playing. But if he does unexpectedly walk into my bedroom where I'm using my computer today to do this recording, I will stop and resume as soon as I have been able to sort him out. I'm hoping he stays in the living room and he doesn't interrupt me. So I have got a long list. I have read all the stories. I'm waiting for the judges to come back to myself, but the long list is here. I have got a list of writers, one of which will be declared the winner on April the 8th in a live show. Excited. If you ask a sub-Saharan Africa to write a story, you are going to be moved to tears. You're going to laugh your sides out. You're going to be shocked. You're going to be appalled by what you're going to read. And those are all the elements of features that make up storytelling in the continent. And I have just enjoyed reading the stories that have been sent, and everyone that took part was a winner. So, in the order in which the stories were read, this is in no particular order, I am going to tell you who has made it to the long list. The Woman Who Lived Alone by Raimundo from Malawi. Raimundo is how you say it. You sent me a WhatsApp message that I spelled your name wrong. I must apologise. You're in the long list. I love reading your story, how you explored witchcraft. Witchcraft is embedded in our traditions in sub-Saharan Africa. And people explain a lot of phenomena that they don't understand through witchcraft. I like your story. It's like the stories you hear on BBC Africa. And I loved it. I've read it so many times. And I liked how you've explored feminism. That the fact that you're a geezer, you're a bloke, you're an African geezer, but you've explored the treatment of elderly women in your country, in Malawi. I loved it. You were in the long list. My Life, the story by a gentleman who I have nicknamed Ezekiel Ingoma. That's the pseudonym. Ezekiel, thank you so much for choosing this platform to tell your real life story. I speak to you on a daily basis because we're working on a project. We will announce it when the winner is announced on the 8th. Your story has moved me to tears. And I just hope that when it's aired, that you will get the support that you need and your experiences will make us look inward and see how we relate to people like yourself who are affected by childhood schizophrenia. Ezekiel, your story is in the long list. Mike's death. My goodness. Iritu Okafor Clement, isn't it? I hope I'm saying your name right. I just think you're going to be a Nollywood film writer. Just reading that, the suspense and the emotions that you convey up. I don't know what's going to happen next. I feel so sorry that, Mike swindled your money and your emotions, they like contradictory emotions that you you had when he passed. I can relate to that. I love this story, and I hope that one day you'll be writing Nollywood films. You're in the long list. My Life, the story by Judah Prince. I like the fact that you were brave enough to explain what you went through as a young lad, and you've looked at domestic violence, and you looked at the way it affected yourself and how it probably impacted in your relationships with women. I love it. There's so much that we can learn from your story, and I enjoyed it so much. So your story is in the long list. I struggle for me. Am I saying this right? Sitali Silembe? I'm going to call you Idris Elba. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a gentleman on the page who's an Idris Elba lookalike, a Zambian gentleman. I loved reading your story. I like the way you've explored lawlessness, or what could be perceived as lawlessness, in an African village or in a rural area in Africa. And the reason why your tribesmen were going to eat that dead cow was because of the scarcity of meat. And hunger is a real issue in the subcontinent. And I like the way you've explored the relationship between a state official, a government representative, and the ordinary African. There's a huge disconnect, isn't there, between African government and the normal African, the normal citizen, I should say. And I just love this story. I laughed so loud. I love it. And there are very similar stories to yours that have come out of Sierra Leone as well, especially in the past year. And people should hear that story, shouldn't they? It's in the long list. Monster Camp by Dorcas. Dorcas. This is the stuff story you read in magazines. I get this sneaky suspicion that you probably published, aren't you? Because some of their competitors are published writers. I like the fact that you've explored new feminist themes. You've explored what makes us vulnerable as women. And you're brave enough to talk about menstruation. If you mention periods in some circles in West Africa, it's like a taboo topic, isn't it? And I like the way you've explored it, and the way you've been brave enough to share your personal experiences. And my, oh my, I feel like I know your mom. The interaction between yourself and your mom, it reminded me of when I reached puberty, and the way my mom was so mechanical about explaining biological and anatomical changes to myself. And as for the physical education teacher, had me giggling. I love your use of language. And that story should be published. You're in the long list. Elijah Eli. You are a sophisticated writer. I want to speak to yourself about coming on board and helping us. I'm so chuffed someone like yourself enter the competition. The way you write, beg your pardon, I loved it. I like your introspective take on your life experiences in Kenya. You are in the long list. Oh, Peter, you're sneaky, aren't you? Because your story came in when I thought we had a clear winner. You submitted your story and you just put a spanner in the works. I have no idea who's going to win it now. And I brought on an adjudicator, a long-term friend of mine called Fode Mana, who has won a competition in the UK and who's an established short story writer. And it teaches English in Scotland. I brought him on board because I have no clue who's going to win this competition because of the high standard of the stories that were submitted. And that's because some of you are graduates and quite a few of you write professionally as well. And when you have a platform where you have people who write professionally and you have a writing competition like this, you are going to be in trouble because it's going to be hard. There's a winner. Or better, you are the master of dialogues. I like the way you started with how your dad was knocking on the door. You're the only writer who's given me that physical description of characters. Thing description. Your dialogue. You're the master of dialogue. And I probably found the next thing with a chairman. Just reading your story. It has to be in the long list. Ladies and gentlemen, so those are the 6 long-listed stories, out of which 3 stories will be shortlisted. I am going to do 2 live shows on the 8th of April. So do join me on the 8th of April when I will announce the shortlist. And then later on, I will announce the winner. And I will ring the winner live. So do keep your phones on if you're in the long list. I will ring you live so we can hear your reaction. And ladies and gentlemen, stories are going to start being posted tonight. All the beautiful stories that didn't make it to the long list, they're going to start being posted tonight so we can enjoy your talent. Whatever you get up to today and whoever wins this competition, we'll see because I have no clue yet. Do have a nice and pleasant one.